Right, I've not done a video for a week. I've been researching other stuff, but I've got quite a lot of images here I want to speed through. I said I was going to revisit this site. I'm just going to point you in a few places and you can go check the images and see what I'm trying to point out to you. But it's pretty obvious, actually, that this thing is not carved from the rock. And either way, you would need a 20th century civilization to be able to do something like that. But I'm going to point you things out that's going to show you that this thing is actually built from it's a type of framing, like a rebar metal framing. I will show you in a bit. And as this thing got blown away, you can actually see holes of this stuff. Yeah, it's completely rusted away, and all the lime has soaked into it, and it becomes an imprint of what it once was. But this entire edifice actually is a mega structure from some other different time of giants, right? No different to Petra. I'm not really going to get into that now. I just want to show this. But it got blown up, didn't it, by these so-called Taliban there. Yeah, this entire edifice, I don't know how big it is, I just know that this area and all around here is a mega structure. No different to the videos I made on Petra. You'll probably need to go watch those first and other ones like it, what I've made. But yeah, this is part of it again, and they will tell you that this has been done in a recent past, right, to show this area up with little bits of rubble bricks, but it's not. It's actually rebar. It's the smaller sections of rebar. Look, the bigger sections are on the outside, right? You know, the walls and what have you. These are how it's built. I'll get into this later. There's many sites that are built like this all over the world. Don't be thinking that that's been knocked out, because it hasn't. This has obviously got has got revealed over time from water washing down off the top of here, and it's washed most of the lime and sand out, and it's revealing it, right? But when you look through this entire thing, you will see little blocks like this falling out of this structure everywhere you look. Come back and look at this image, listen to what I've said, and you will know that this entire thing has been built from rebar of various sizes that's completely rusted away and soaked up all the minerals and lime, right? And it becomes and looks like this. Okay, that's enough of that. Yeah, a part of this arm fell away, and can you see these giant holes? And look, these holes are big, right? Think about it. How would you hold this thing up? You would need huge girders. What type of civilization do you think can make girders strong enough to do this and lift them up here and build this kind of structure? There's your answer, right? I can't spell it all out for you, but that speaks for itself. As this thing was blown away, I'm going to show you something shortly that'll show you exactly what it was built from. This area here, it fell away, and look, it's revealing this. And there's holes perfectly spaced, lines of that, right? That's what this entire thing was built from, and secured to the wall with girders, right? Because it had to be. How else would you manage to have a thing that size with its hands outstretched about 50 feet? Think about it. This is a bit further down, and as the front of this fell away, it revealed how it was put together inside, right? Go through this image and have a listen and look at what I'm trying to point out to you. As before this even got blown up, the legs were actually knocked out, and it was secured to the wall still, even though all the rebar and girders had actually rusted away. It was still secured to the wall. That's how well this thing was built. But you can see how well these holes track. I'm going to show you now what this thing was built from. Don't know what this is over the top, but it's absolutely immaculate. You've got to look at an image like this and know just how big this is to realise what type of civilization it takes to build something like this. I haven't actually got the image here. I think it might be later, but in these hands here, yeah, where it's broken away, there's huge holes where beams would obviously hold the hands in place. This thing here shows you exactly what it was built from. This is the sand, right? And the lime runs into this as it's rusting away. As it's rusting away, the lime, it gets into it and forms an imprint and builds up around what it once was built from. This was lime, this is the sand, because it's a rebar structure and you pour concrete into it. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Right? These two images are showing you exactly what this structure was built from. Right. This is, I just found this interesting anyway. This is a more recent type of rebarring. I don't know why they do this, I'm not sure, I need to research it. But you've got a type of rebar and you've got these giant balls, because you know, all over the world we've got these giant balls everywhere that are completely spherical and they haven't been explained properly. Yeah, some are slightly different, but they're everywhere. Just find this interesting because I've shown you technology and artifacts and all sorts of things that have clearly turned to stone. So I'll be looking at that, but this is actually in Scarborough, this site. This isn't rebar, it's built from cement and bricks, blocks, rough blocks. But the mainstream narrative for these being in here, there's more of them, is that these were stone cannonballs, right? Now, I want you to use your rational mind and ask yourself why, if these were stone cannonballs this big, why when they were fired out of the gun didn't they blow up into 1,000 pieces, right? And if that wouldn't blow them up into 1,000 pieces, why didn't they break into 1,000,000 pieces when they hit this wall? And why are they embedded in this wall? It's because they were once metal, iron cannonballs that have since turned to stone, and that's why you get this rust that runs out of it, right? You know, I've compiled enough evidence to show you that metal and plastics, glass, whatever, will return back to what it came from, form the imprints of, or turn into over time, or even events that we don't know of. But they're telling you that these are stone cannonballs. And there's more than this place where they're at. This probably shows you how some of this comes around, you know, from the outside in maybe, well, depending where they are anyway, and what sediment that they've been buried in. This is an artifact I've shown you before when I was, well, the first video that I made, when I showed you all sorts of different pieces of technology and machines that had since turned to stone. This is a different image a bit further back, but obviously this was some type of metal, right? You know, like a rivet type, braid into a surface to hold something in place, and that's why it's like that at the top, right? This is not what the mainstream independent researchers want you to think, that stone was softer back then and they were building structures from soft stone, right? But that doesn't explain all the technology and imprints of technology that I've been showing you. So if I can show you there, then what was this? This is from Age of Disclosures channel. It's a new image. I just wanted to show you it because this is no different. This has turned into the same material as this, and this was obviously some other plastic, metal, I don't know. These things are found all over the place again, and I think these are no different. I think these were some type of technology inside some machine, completely different to machines we've got today, but they won't always have been stone, will they? They have turned into this, whatever they were made from I don't know. Probably different material. Look, there's different types of stones here. So I don't know, if they were originally made out of different material, or if it's even to do with what type of sediment, or even how old they are, which determines what they turn into. I just know for a fact that they weren't carved like that for no reason and found all over the earth. These things, yeah, an explanation was, it was a comment on my channel. He said that these things buried in the earth could, as these things rust, they will soak up minerals and lime. As this thing rusts away, the build-up will build up around it and form an imprint and a shell of this stuff exactly where it was, and end up being stone. So that's just another explanation for how this stuff comes around for you. That's Puma Punko. I'm not going to get into this now. That's a, well, that was once a leather hat that's now petrified. I suppose that's more similar to mud fossil videos I've shown you. This image I thought once was a dragon, but it's not. It's actually part of a machine, a huge piping. There's pieces all over, but just look at this area here. That, now that I'm looking at things in a different way, kind of becomes obvious that it's the imprint of technology. These seem to be like nails, don't they? Obviously from a time of giants, and lime from being buried underground has encased them. Part of it's rusted away, broke away. You can see rust inside. These lines, is this some type of wooden structure that huge nails have been bred into? Maybe. Have a look at the images and make up your own mind, but these things are unbelievable. These things are unreal. Right. This one here, you can actually see a plate, yeah, that goes around the rim, tracks back there and goes all the way back here and back over the top, because that's how these things were obviously joined together, with rubber and plastics, yeah, and metal clamps, and there will have been some type of piping for wires or water or whatever. But you can't just connect concrete to concrete, can you? And when you look through all this, you will see not so much rebar, it's more like wire meshing in squares that track around the entire surface of these things. If you don't believe me, I want you to go check my wall, my Google page, right? Because this will probably make up your mind on everything that I'm talking about, and how these things, how these lines track around it like that in a spiral. This is the Amuru Gate here in Peru, yeah, and this was a structure that's just the imprint of, and this is actually a plate. I've been wanting to show you this for a while, but I can't seem to find a big image of it. But if you look here, there's actually the imprint of a bolt. Look, it goes up there, square bolt, runs round here, goes there and runs up the other side. It's some type of plate, right? There's a few things in this and you can go look at that, but this guy's deceiving. He's adding that with that with that. Well, these are fingerprints. That's the broken obelisk. That is some type of technology, and this is something else. I said I was going to prove to you that this seemed to be like wooden flooring. It's the site in India. Anyway, I forgot where it is now. I'll move on. Yeah, I just threw this in for the sake of it, to try and make sense of what I was looking at. Because obviously there's been wars in the past. This thing just doesn't make any sense. When you look at this, look, this is not, I think it's jade actually, it's known as a jade artifact, but this has not been carved, people. It's not even CNC technology, right? This is serious stuff to make this kind of thing. It actually looks like, to me, that this was some type of soft gooey substance. Could have been anything. Anything that you buy out of a shop today. Window filler. Anything. Something like that. Something soft. And it's turned into this material. It looks like it was poured into some type of frame. Can you see that? And now it's black that runs down there. But then they sliced these. Look, that has been sliced as this stuff was hardening. That's why you get that rim running around there. I guarantee you. Look, the explanation for those lips and that rim running around there is because it's been sliced down the middle and then blown. So the lips blow out. I guarantee you that. This thing is not from boring technology. This is the artifact in Egypt, right? Because this